Hi everyone, it's Sherry from Our Life Homeschooling. In my video today, I want to talk to you about my 2024 homeschool plans, and I also want to give you a little heads up about some of the content I'm going to be sharing on my channel in the next year. If this is your first time on my channel, I want to introduce myself. My name is Sherry. I'm a homeschool mom to 10 kids. I'm a former public school teacher. I show up here on my channel every week to encourage other moms in homeschooling. I want to pass on to them the same kind of help that was given to me in so many ways over the years by so many other moms. I have a passion for helping other homeschool moms in this great work that you're doing with your kids. We just finished up our Christmas celebration a couple days ago. We took a couple days to rest. I've been playing a lot of games with my kids and we've been watching some Christmas movies. And we're kind of just finishing up, wrapping up 2023, and I am looking ahead with excitement for the new year. I'm a goal setter by nature. I love planning out goals and I write them down. I do this every year. For the most part, I do complete my goals at the end of a year, so I'm looking back at some of the things I had written down last year, and it's so rewarding to see the things that you've accomplished when you write things down. Sometimes I have set a goal and I didn't quite reach it, but it's still rewarding because I know that I probably got a lot farther than I would have if I hadn't written it down. So this is something that excites me. I like thinking about what's next, starting with a clean slate, which is how I feel about 2024. And I've written down a couple things that I'm going to be working on in our homeschool, and I want to share them with you. I hope it will inspire you and get some thoughts flowing for you for what you want to do in the new year in your homeschool. As I get started on this new year, I can't help but look back at last year with thankfulness. There's so many ways that God's been good to us, things that we prayed for and the Lord answered our prayers, or things that were struggles at the time. We didn't know how we were going to get through them. And just some new blessings. We had a new baby last year. Our son graduated from high school. It was our first homeschool graduate, and that was so rewarding to have homeschooled him all the way through from kindergarten and to get to that point. So I really have a heart of gratitude at the start of this year, just looking back at God's faithfulness to us and trusting that the same God who was faithful last year is going to be good this next year, and I have a lot of hope and excitement for what's up next. I have 3 goals for our homeschool in this spring semester, and that doesn't sound like a lot because I only like to make goals that I know are achievable, so I'm keeping it short to 3. As with a lot of other things in homeschooling, in having a large family, I feel like it comes down to focus. I'm not able to do everything. I've learned that a long time ago. There are always things that are going to have to be pushed aside that are kind of in maintenance mode while I focus on one thing. And when I'm focusing on that one thing, some of those other things don't get done or aren't getting done as detailed or as well as I would like it. And so one of the things that I've noticed has kind of been lacking in our homeschool over the past couple months is narration. So my first goal for the new year is to spend some more time focusing on narration with my kids. Now my kids have been doing narrations, but it's something that was kind of on a back burner, and I want to spend more time checking their narrations each week and sitting down with them and helping them to spot ways that they can be better at their writing, or they can retell something more clearly, maybe be more concise. I always have kids that need to put more details in and kids that need to consolidate and keep it short. So I want to focus on checking my kids' narrations. And like I said, they're always doing them. It's on their checklist. But sometimes if somebody's not checking your work and reviewing it with you, you don't always give your best work. And when they know mom's going to be sitting down and we're going to be combing through it and talking about it, they tend to try a lot harder. So we're going to be focusing on narration. And I am probably going to do a couple blog posts on narration as well. So if there's something you'd like to know about how to do narration, please comment below and just give me your questions. What questions do you have about it? It's something that I've been doing for so long that it comes naturally to me until I hear some newer moms ask questions about it, and the things they ask me are things that I don't even think about because we've just been doing it for a while. So what do you want to know about narration? A second thing that I have on my list of goals for this new year is to spend some time focusing on my older girls. We had 2 boys first, and then we had 3 girls, and then they're boy, girl, all the way down to the end. But my oldest 2, the oldest is graduated, and a lot of our focus went into getting him graduated last year and sending him off to school in the fall. Our second son is now driving. He's almost finished with his permit and he'll be on his own, so he's able to take himself to work, to basketball, to meet up with friends and do some things like that. As our kids get older, I do put more emphasis on helping them be able to hone their skills or to have more social opportunities with friends, more opportunities for sports or any kind of skills that they want to learn, classes. It's not that we don't do it when they're young, it's just that for the most part, when our kids are young, they are happy playing at home, being outside. The activities that we do at co-op and at church and just random field trips, that is enough for them. As they get older, I really like to sit down with them and just ask them questions like, what are you interested in? What can we hone in on to help you in this certain skill? Or is there a sport that you really want to play in high school? Some of my girls really would like to get involved in acting and be a part of some kind of performance. So I just want to sit down with some of the older ones now that we have our first 2 kind of launched a little bit. I want to sit down and spend time with them, asking them these questions. I've even asked, what do you want to learn before you graduate? What kinds of things would you like to do together with me and you, or with me and your dad, that we can just do for fun? And so now that we have these girls coming up, I want to spend a little bit more time focusing on doing fun things with them and helping them hone their interests. A third goal that I have for our homeschool is finishing up our morning time notebooks. I created these simple morning time notebooks last fall. This is how we make Ambleside Online work for our large family. This is all the composer study, picture study, poetry, memory work that is included for the year in Ambleside Online. It's a lot of their suggestions for this year. I break it down into just 2 studies for each. They give, for example, 3 picture studies per year. They have 3 terms. I do just 2. That is workable for us. We finished the first half last semester, so we were doing Claude Monet, Johannes Brahms, we did William Blake for poetry, we did Twelfth Night for Shakespeare. For the spring semester, we're going to be doing Rudyard Kipling for our poet, and then Georges Seurat for our artists. For composer study, it's going to be Franz Liszt. And then for Shakespeare, we're going to be reading King Lear. When I do Shakespeare with my kids, I use 2 books. I always start with beautiful stories from Shakespeare. These, it breaks down his play into something that's readable and easy to understand for all ages. And this kind of sets the mood and the plot for the story, helps them to understand it. And then I read it a second time from Tales from Shakespeare. You can see this is a really old book and well loved. I love how this is written. I've read several of his plays from here. We haven't progressed quite to reading his actual plays yet. Maybe as all my kids get older, we'll get to that point. I do love how Archangel Studios, they have some read-alouds that are great. And so that would probably be what I would use for that. But we're going to be doing King Lear, and I'm going to be reading it twice from these two books. If you're interested in finishing up the year with us, you can get my Simple Morning Time Notebook on the blog. It's really been a huge help for me because I love Ambleside, but it's kind of hard to do with a large family, and it's just the way that we make it work. I thought I'd share with you also some of the books that we're reading in the new year. I try to read an older book and a younger book. So for the older one, I pick one that I know my oldest child will sit through. So our oldest son is 16. He does not usually sit in for our read aloud. He works a couple days a week, and then he has co-op another day. And so I can usually depend on him being here maybe 1 or 2 days for our read aloud. And so I pick something that I know will interest him. And that book is Men of Iron. So we've been reading this one. This is by Howard Pyle. I love his writing. He wrote Robin Hood as well as Otto of the Silver Hand and several other really good books. So I'm reading this one. It's taking us a long time to get through it because, again, I'm only reading it once or twice a week when he's here. So for my younger read aloud, I am doing Children of the New Forest. This is also an Ambleside suggestion. This is kind of a longer book, so even though we're reading this regularly, it's taking me some time to get through it. Now, having said that, I have an older and younger read aloud. Sometimes, because it's hard with multiple children, I also have one that is a little bit younger yet that I am reading to my, say, like my third and first and kindergarten child. And it's one that probably my 5th, 6th, and 7th will still sit through. And that one I have not started yet, but I want to read to them The Secret Garden. This is one that I know those ages would be able to really appreciate and still grasp all of it. I don't read all 3 of these books every day. Again, Men of Iron, I only read twice a week. I kind of usually just end up reading 2 readings. So it may be one of these 3 read-alouds and then a history reading. Or a different one of these 3 read-alouds and a history and science reading. I kind of gauge it on how long the readings are, how interested my kids are. When they start to lose interest, we stop. And also what else we have going on. If you listened to my video in the fall where I shared what we were doing for science and history, we've really gone off the map this year. In the past, I've done Veritas Press and Apologia. We've really been consistent with that, but I needed to change. For science, we've been doing The Mystery of the Periodic Table. This is an Ambleside suggestion. And we've gotten about halfway through it, and it was getting a little harder, and I asked my kids, do you guys want to finish this? Or do you want to just, we've gotten pretty far, we can just put it aside and read something else. And they all wanted to finish it. And as we've gone through, it's challenging, but they've been enjoying it and they've been picking up enough as long as I don't spend too long on a reading. They've been enjoying it. We've all been learning something. So I think we're going to go ahead and finish this book. Another one that we've been doing is A Child's Story of America with Ambleside Online. I've had some difficulty finding a lot of American history, and I wanted to just pause for this year, and my kids had asked if they could do more American history. So that's why I've been reading this one. We are probably going to finish this one early, so I'll have to let you know what's coming after this. So that wraps up my goals for our new year. I am going to be spending today and tomorrow probably just doing some cleaning, getting some cabinets cleaned out. I have a homeschool desk drawer that I absolutely have to clean out. It's where all of our morning time stuff is kept, and it doesn't matter how often I clean it. I think I clean it like once a month. It just gets trashed. So that has to be completely organized, and that's going to feel really good to help us get started again. I also want to tell you some of the things that are coming up in my channel for 2024. I've had Different viewers ask questions, and I've found that I like to do videos on the questions you ask. So comment below, let me know what you want to know about, and I often will pick those questions, and that's what my next video is about. So some of them are homeschooling boys, a homeschool morning routine, how I, as a mom of 10, get ready in the morning and get things going, staying fit through multiple pregnancies. Another one that a mom asked me about is how to manage your day when your husband has a random schedule. This is something I haven't talked about too much on my channel, but my husband has a schedule that is very sporadic. He works shift work, and that has been probably one of the most challenging things for our homeschool. It's been a blessing because he's here a lot when the kids are here. If they were in school, he wouldn't see them. But it's also added an extra challenge for us, so I'm going to be talking about that. Talking a little bit about homeschooling in winter, and then I want to give you my #1 tip for spending more quality individual time with each of your kids. So if you have some other ideas or questions for me, would you let me know? I would be interested in hearing from you. I'm doing a couple new things over on the blog as well. One of them is a companion guide to teaching Bob books. If you like to use Bob books to teach your kids to read. When I started teaching my oldest son several years ago, I felt like there was something missing, and so every time I would come to a new sight word or a new phonics sound, I kind of created my own little notebook in a simple manuscript tablet, and I ended up using this tablet over the years teaching each of my kids to read. It was something that I just felt helped me as we were going through each book. All through the years that I've been using the Bob books to teach, I've thought, I wish there was something out there like this that you could just buy. And so I finally said to myself, you know what, I'm gonna make one. So that is coming out this year on the blog. If any of you are teaching your kids to read with Bob books, this is something you will absolutely love. If you're new on my channel and you want to see a little bit more about what's on here, you can head over to this video where I do a day in the life of our homeschool, and you can just see what that looks like for us as a family of 12. Thanks for watching today. I'll see you next week.